Right, 8 down, 1 to go, and our 1 over the 8, remember his order is purely alphabetical by surname, is the current champion from Dene Magna School, Lewis White. Lewis is adventurous, cool and outgoing, or at least he claims he is, and he'd like to be an accountant or a mathematician. Obviously you hadn't heard James's speech about why we're not going to need accountants in the future, but the world certainly needs more adventurous, cool and outgoing accountants and mathematicians. Lewis says he enjoys science, likes pizza but loves football. So he might be interested in the Can Science Say football event over in Oxford in a week's time that I'm hosting or refereeing with Professor Jim Al-Khalili and Marcus de Soto, Professor of Maths at Oxford, statistician David Spiegelhalter and former FameLabber Joanne Bagnushka, all refereed by me and talking about whether science can say football. But more realistically, right now, Lewis is probably only interested in the next 180 seconds. So get ready for a big finish from the last, but statistically unlikely to be least, Lewis White.
The most debatable topic in history. Scientists have spent years upon end attempting to find out who is better, Batman or Superman. So Superman's invincible, right? Think again. Superman has a weakness within him that makes him as weak as a student's bladder during a maths lesson. He is allergic to kryptonite, and you're probably thinking, so what? It doesn't concern me. But in actual fact, 1/5 of our population today claim to be affected by food allergy or intolerance. You'll need to know what an allergy is to understand. An allergic reaction is when the body reacts to a substance within the immune system which it just cannot tolerate. Why? Because your body is stupid. It literally thinks that these substances, known as allergens, which are mostly harmless anyway, are about to attack your body. The immune system attacks them in a sort of misguided assault, forcing you into a state of reaction. So don't blame the cat or the grass, but blame your body. This reaction can be either mild or worse into a state of reaction called an anaphylactic shock, which is potentially life-threatening. Symptoms include fast or slow heart rate, low blood pressure, swelling of the lips, tongue and throat, loss of consciousness, shortness of breath, and many more. And this is why anaphylaxis can be life-threatening. Now, when Superman sees kryptonite, he loses all of his superpowers, when in reality, if he was having an anaphylactic shock, it would look a bit like this. So now we know the types of reaction. How does your body respond to an allergen? Well, the allergen, or unknown substance, enters a body and comes in contact with cells called mast cells. When triggered, these release things called histamines, and it's these that enter the bloodstream and cause a reaction. So in theory, couldn't we just stop them from reaching the bloodstream? Well, the answer is yes. However, antihistamine medicines like Piriton, they work by slowing down the histamines in a milder reaction and are useless in an anaphylactic shock. However, there is this thing called an EpiPen, like this one here. Now, this is a preloaded needle full of adrenaline, and the needle on it is 16 millimeters long. It's only a fake. But anyway, a real EpiPen will contain adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, which works by counteracting the symptoms of anaphylaxis. It tightens your blood vessels to increase blood pressure and decrease swelling, increases your heart rate to stop a collapse, and even stops your body from releasing more allergic chemicals. It really can save a life. What's concerning, though, is that anybody can develop an allergy to anything at any time, and that's something to think about. So Batman doesn't have an allergy, whereas Superman does, and that's why scientists concluded that Batman is officially better than Superman. Thanks for listening.
Lewis. Great way of linking this topic to Batman and Superman and kryptonite. We were all, I think, hooked straight away from the start. So it was a really lovely introduction. And you brought it back in at the end as well. Yeah. So that was a nice way to summarise at the end. You know, your stuff is really interesting, lots of research, and you told a story throughout. There was, you know, a clear beginning, middle and end. So great there for clarity on the presentation. It's a really fascinating area, allergies. And I know people who will use homeopathy to cure their allergies. What, have you done any research on that?
I'm not sure. No, I haven't really done much research, but I know that like an allergy can be developed at any time. So if we could get a cure for it, it'd be great, because I am actually an allergy sufferer, so that would be great.
Don't tell me it's weed, because I know you love pizza.
No, eggs and nuts.
Oh,
So.
okay. So going back to the hay fever that you mentioned as well, does that mean that people's hay fever might not necessarily be linked to what we're breathing in the air? It could be down to food, do you think?
Well, no, it's the pollen in the grass that enters through the nose and then gets into your bloodstream that way. But it's the substance actually in the pollen that causes a reaction. And when it reacts with that mast cell, they release the histamines, and then that's how a reaction is caused.
Thank you very much for explaining that.
Thank you for that, Lewis. I thought you might have an allergy when you got your EpiPen out. I carry an EpiPen as well for peanuts. It's the same sort of thing. And I thought if he'd have stuck that in his leg, he'd have been shooting all over that stage right now.
Yeah.
It makes you go mental, doesn't it? Is there any research with potential for cures? I mean, it's all very well responsive stuff, but without linked to the last talk, is there stem cell stuff? Is there light on the horizon for me and you?
Well, I think if we could stop them from reaching the bloodstream and had something like you say, a stem cell or something that blocked them from reaching the bloodstream, then there's no reaction. So if we could stop that happening and then the immune system attacking them, yeah, there could be a cure.
Okay, have to leave it there, but some nice allergy analogies from our final finalist, Lewis White.